You will observe that some of the things that I have to say overlap some of the things that Max Boot said. This is so, I dare say, not only because great minds run in the same channel, but also because the things on which we agree are true. All societies, when they become sufficiently interdependent, need governance. The society of states, the society of sovereign countries, has reached that point. The international society needs governance, and the United States provides it. The United States provides to other countries some, although not all, of the services that governments provide within the countries that they govern. This, as it happens, is the thesis of my 2006 book, The Case for Goliath, How America Acts as the World's Government in the 21st Century, that the organizers have very kindly provided outside this room. The United States provides order to the world, as governments must, in two ways. First, economic activity within countries requires a secure backdrop. Government protects commerce and enforces contracts. The United States does this in the global economy. American military deployments and the American alliance systems assure the free flow of trade and the movement of capital across borders. This economic activity, known as globalization and made possible by the American role as the world's police force, has brought benefits to hundreds of millions of people. Second, the United States helps keep order in the world by leading the effort to keep weapons of mass destruction out of the hands of groups or individuals that would deploy them in ways antithetical to the interests not only of the United States, but of the world in general. The United States leads the effort at global nuclear non-proliferation. And in these two ways, above all, the United States acts as the world's police force. Now, to this argument, at least three objections may be made, and we've already heard one of them. One objection is that the United States does not carry out its policing duties as well as it should. As Ellen Laipson said, the United States is not present everywhere and doesn't act perfectly. And this is certainly true, but neither does any police force. Every police force is subject to criticism, legitimate criticism, but criticizing a police force is not the same thing as arguing that there should not be one. A second objection to the motion is that it would be better if global policing were carried out not by the United States, but by other countries or groups of countries or international organizations. Now, I dare say if the proposition were put that way to the American public, a majority of them might agree. But it is the fact, as Max Boot noted, that there is no other country or group of countries that is willing or able to take up the burden of global policing. And as for international organizations, they are far too feeble to do so, and that emphatically includes the international organization to which some would like to assign the task of global policing, the one whose headquarters is located a few blocks from here, the United Nations. So the alternative to the United States as the world's policeman is not a better international order, it is more international disorder. Well, a third objection is, what about Iraq? Well, the American military operations in Iraq really have two parts. The first part involved removing a tyrannical government and ensuring that neither it nor a tyrannical successor would possess weapons of mass destruction. The second part of the operation involves trying to construct a stable, decent, democratic government in that country. The first task, which falls within the purview of global policing, was successfully accomplished. The second has not been done so successfully, but the second task, what's wrongly called nation building and should be called state building, is not an example of police work, it's an example of social work. The United States is not good at social work, but it doesn't have to be to perform as the world's police force. So, to oppose this motion, you must believe one or both of two things. You must believe either that the world does not need policing, or that there is some better source of global policing than the United States. There is, I submit, no reason to believe either. And I will add, by way of conclusion, that there is one group of people with a keen interest in global order and extensive familiarity with the American role in the world that emphatically does not believe either proposition. I refer to the world's governments. They could, if they chose, circumscribe or abolish altogether, by banding together to oppose it, the American role as the world's policeman. But they have done and show no signs of doing any such thing. And the reason is that they understand and appreciate the benefits that America's role as the global policeman confers upon their countries and on the world as a whole. So, whatever the verdict of the people in this House, the governments of the world, above all by what they have not done, have voted in favor of this motion. Thank you.